You must have heard of the LMIA process that a lot of people use and talk about for moving to Canada. And LMIA is a labor market impact assessment that is issued by the Canadian government, and it authorizes Canadian employers to sponsor overseas workers to come to Canada and work. There are two routes generally that LMIs are used for. One is the work permit route, where you can go and work as a temporary worker, or you can use the LMI to get your PR, permanent residence of Canada. Now, in the permanent residence programs, two types of LMIs are used. One is 50 points LMI that, it's either for semi-skilled or skilled positions, or there is a 200-point LMI, which is reserved for senior management positions. So a lot of people, when they don't have sufficient points for express entry, let's say your points are 300, 350, you will try to find a job, with an employer in Canada for a senior management position. What is happening is, on one hand, the Canadian government will issue an LMI to an employer to hire a senior management person. It could be a director, a VP, or such other positions, from overseas. But when the applicant finally uses these LMIs in their application for permanent residence in express entry, let's say, IRCC, they're doing a lot of checks on these 200 points LMIs. There's a lot of scrutiny that these 200 points LMIs come under. The reason for that is obvious, because these are senior management positions, and they want to be doubly sure that the employers that are using these 200-point LMIs are justified in hiring these employees from overseas. So IRCC is sending a lot of letters asking for clarifications, asking for further documentation, or sometimes they're even outright rejecting these PR applications because they're not able to convince a visa officer that these 200-point LMIs were justified to begin with. So this causes a lot of headache again for the applicants and the employers, because you spent a lot of time, effort, most likely a lot of funds in going through this whole process, and eventually if it gets refused, it is a big setback. So what is very important is how well you planned your recruitment activities, how well you can justify your hiring of a senior management person from overseas is going to dictate the results that you get from a 200 points LMI. So basically, just getting a 200 points LMI does not give you the surety that you will get your PR by the end of it. The 200 points LMI is the starting point. You still have to have a very good application, even a better application than somebody who's submitting a 50 points LMI, because there will be a lot of scrutiny, and you should be ready to back up all the claims and to provide all the documentation to IRCC.